All right, everyone, let's dive into today's topic. It's really interesting. I think we talked already about AI in a recent episode, but we thought to dive even deeper, talking more about how we personally use AI in business and in our lives. So, why don't you start, Paco, talking about how you leverage AI? I'm curious. We didn't prepare, we didn't talk about this.
As
So
always.
I'm learning, yeah, as usual. I have a lot to share as well about this topic, but why don't you just start, Paco?
Well, I wanted to talk about this topic because, well, first off, I'm preparing an article, okay, that I will publish tomorrow. So I'm
Is it you
in
or
the
is it
mood,
AI
in the
preparing the
mood,
article? See,
okay,
there it
in the
starts.
mood. We're both, because I think that that's the paradox. I think that it's that AI is powerful, but many people don't get real value from it. And I think that that's something that we are constantly seeing during our coaching sessions, in our membership, in different places, even with the replies whenever we publish some content. And the question is why? Okay, why are so many people not getting the real advantage that AI brings to the table? And I think, in my opinion, that it's because they lack systems. And again, we go back to the same thing. Okay, the moment that you don't have a system in place, it doesn't make sense to start using AI. Okay, because it's like using AI without a productivity system behind. A race car, okay, without knowing how to drive, okay, it doesn't make any sense, because a lot of people see AI as a replacement, and I disagree. Okay, I think that it's a force multiplier. Okay, I think that AI won't replace my expertise. Okay, but if I integrate it right, it will amplify it. I think it will enhance, and that's what we are living here at the paperless movement, because everything is based on systems. Okay, I think that we want to do a pragmatic episode here. Okay, so we're gonna give you like hacks or tips so that you can start using or at least approaching AI in a different way, because I think that the busy professionals that are not taking advantage even today using AI, I think they are missing a big point. Okay, they are not being as good as they could be. Okay, I think that they are doing extra effort that it's totally unnecessary. Okay, I think that feeds, okay, the negative feedback loop of generating stress, anxiety, and not having control over the things. And also, I think that it's really important. I think that the quality of the deliverables that you produce, the outcomes, can be significantly enhanced by using AI. In my case, for instance, I'm being focused just on the paperless movement and the content generation that I do. I think that my articles have become much better, okay, thanks to AI. And we will share some domains where you can start applying AI, because I think that a lot of people go too broad. Okay, they don't go to a specific need, a specific process, a specific and simple workflow, and start studying how they can implement or start implementing AI, okay, to fill the different gaps that AI can perfectly cover. And I think that from that starting point is where everything is a mess. Okay, you start just randomly using AI tools with random prompts, and then the outcome, we always say the same. Okay, but prompts brings bad outcomes, because at the end it's a system. Okay, and the output depend on the input, and that's what's happening. Okay, so I think that if we approach with a systematic AI approach the world of artificial intelligence, the outcomes will be much better. And I think that to be fully focused, the main task that can be enhanced by AI, for me, would be three different types. Okay, first, the high volume and repetitive tasks. I think that you can perfectly enhance those type of work, okay, by using AI. The first draft creation, okay, you don't have to be a content creator, okay, to take advantage of that. I will share in a minute some examples about how to prepare an email or how to prepare a presentation, a proposal, whatever, by using AI for the first draft. And also, I think that uh, the perspective limited thinking is another type of task, okay, that can be perfectly enhanced thanks to AI.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I didn't want to interrupt you because it seemed that there's more coming. Obviously, for me, it's the same. We didn't talk so much about the back end and how we use AI, and that's what we do here. But in fact, it is so much because being aware, first of all, as you mentioned, of the processes, this gives you then the best placement to identify process steps that AI can take over. And in other episodes, or also on videos, and obviously inside the courses that we do with ICOR, we show these examples where there are people being replaced by AI. So for me, it would be the interview work stream that I had previously, where I invited people and had interviews, podcasts, and then create a blog post out of this podcast and create video snippets out of this and publish it on the different places and so on. I had two people doing it, and these two people are no longer part of the process. This is now AI and automations doing it. So whenever you see inside the membership new articles or videos published, that's no longer done by a person. It's done by Zapier and an automation that is triggered by just completing the process. And it's also published on WordPress on the website. That's something that was impossible previously because a person had to log into WordPress, upload the blog post, make the formatting properly, and all these things. And how does AI come into play there? Well, for the formatting, you can prompt, optimize the blog post and make the format right, convert Markdown into HTML. You can do so many things that was so time consuming and expensive to do with people that is a game changer. And that's something where we've used AI agents in a sense already, where ChatGPT is involved in different process steps. Convert, for example, a YouTube video. I published a YouTube video. There's a transcript of me talking, and this transcript is automatically sent to ChatGPT. ChatGPT has a custom GPT that is built with the knowledge about ICOR and who I am, my word, tone of voice, and then creates a blog post out of the transcript. So this is very specific and it is very tailored to who I am, what I think the blog post would be. And it was optimized over time until it gets to the point where I say, okay, that's like I would write it. And it is like me because it's using my voice from the video, like I'm talking. So that is all the things. And that's where it becomes a superpower. But this is all running through Zapier. So Zapier is sending the information to ChatGPT. ChatGPT gives the response with the result. Zapier adds this then to the different places. So that was already agents. And just yesterday, I discovered a tool called Lindy .ai, I think, and that's where you can really build agents. So you can make a recurring workflow that every day it goes to Perplexity, the AI search engine, and there you can have a prompt and asking what's the most important productivity problem people have right now, and it will give the response. And then we have the whole ICOR book in there with our whole ICOR methodology, and then we have knowledge in there because it can read and be aware of 20 million characters. So we can have whole conversations, our coachings with our inner circle members. The AI really knows how Paco and I think. We can feed our podcasts into it and all this. And therefore, it understands now how our approach to productivity is, and then finds a solution to the most common productivity problem found by Perplexity, and builds a solution. So it can be a blog post, it can be a video, it can be whatever. But I would never use this to automate things, to automate things in a sense of having it published on LinkedIn. Also, it's getting close, I have to say, but you need still to have a control. But this being said, this is where you can have agents and it reacts. It can send you an email asking, should I move forward, and you have an interaction with with an action agent, which was the VA previously. So it can do all the research, it can give you the ideas what to do next, and so on. And then we have Notebook LM from Google, another huge step forward, where I just fed in all the YouTube videos and our podcasts and our ICOR Journey book. And it's insane. You can have any questions and it will make proper answers. So, the point I want to get to here is, again, you cannot expect from AI to do it all for you, because it will always to be generalistic. When you ask, hey, write me an article about productivity, or how to make professionals more productive, right? It will come up with a blog post, but it will come up with what is commonly known, all the typical hacks that you have, all the well-known methods and so on, but it won't come up with a specific solution like we have with ICOR, um, unless we feed in our thoughts about how productivity should be approached. And that is the big game changer. You have to have your workflows running. You do this on a manual basis every day. You optimize these processes manually, and then either you hire a person to take over specific process steps, or you look for AI who can take over some steps, or a combination of both. But again, without having the clarity about the workflows behind in a tool agnostic sense, uh, you will never get AI to work for you as efficient. But this applies also to your team and to any team members that you have. To me, it's exactly the same approach.
Yeah, the thing is that as this AI wave started, okay, we have to deal with users that had no idea about this, and software companies that had no idea
Yeah,
either.
that's
Okay,
the
so
point.
most of them, what they did was just a connection with ChatGPT, and that was it.
Yeah.
So then that's not enhancing a software tool with AI. Okay, that's making a connection that instead of just copying and paste, okay, coming from ChatGPT or any of the LLMs like Claude, for instance, well, you have that. But the point is that there are some specific and vertical solutions. Like, for instance, in my last convention for one of my companies, I had to make a lecture, okay, to motivate our team and these type of things that happen in a convention, okay. And I'm a totally disaster, okay, talking about graphical design, no matter that I've been working with designers for more than 2 decades, okay, but I'm a disaster talking about that creativity. And the point is that I didn't want to annoy our people or just use a standard template, okay, out of any of the presentation tools that we can use, okay, in Google, in our case. The thing is that I found out a tool that it's called Gamma, okay, and the point is that they have done a really interesting product talking about linking AI with a presentation tool that helps you a lot, okay? Because it's not just about the graphical design, but it's also about the structure, okay? The outline, the inspiration, okay? I think that AI for idea generation, it's amazing, okay? It gives you those perspective-based. If you have, for instance, a clear pivotal point from where you want to start your explanation, okay, you can receive a lot of different perspectives and ideas from where you can start going through that path, okay. And I think that at the end, AI is able to create something that it's full of coherence, okay, that can enhance a lot of different things. For instance, the moment that you have the main structure, okay, the backbone of the presentation, you can perfectly start adding things really fast, okay, because that was amazing for me. I prepared the presentation in 45 minutes, okay. It was a presentation that when I did it on my own, it took me more than 8 hours, okay, thinking about the right structure. When I put this message, then I need to look for an image, then I think about the type of font that I will use, the colors, creating something that is homogeneous but at the same time dynamic. I think that all those things, the moment that AI is really well implemented in a tool, okay, it's amazing, okay. In my case, for instance, the integration in Tana, okay, my PKM system of AI, it's amazing, okay? It's amazing. First off, because it allows me to use multiple LLMs, and that's useful because I can perfectly see the different outputs based on the same prompt by using different LLMs. And that's something powerful the moment that you are constantly interacting with different AI models. And I think that also having that control, those boundaries of just using and interacting with your own content and just using the content from the LLM to create that additional real value that it's hidden, you know, because my PKM is full of things that I'm not aware of all the things that I have inside there, okay? There are many things that were interesting in the past, some of the things that are recently, and it's fresh for me, but the point is that AI is able to go through all my knowledge and bring the things that, based on the current work, are useful for me. And I think that those type of integration is like superhuman. The moment that I'm creating an email, okay, is using not only my tone of voice, but who is the sender, the different interaction that I have done with that recipient. I mean, all those things helps to create that initial draft, and even, you know, that it goes beyond, because sometimes you see the draft and you say, man, it's better than anything that I could have done, you know. And that's the moment that you start, the moment that you put that effort into a repetitive process that bets on volume, like for instance email replying, okay, it's amazing, okay, how you can enhance not only the quantity of the outcome, but also the quality, okay, the quality, because it's taking into account many different ideas that I cannot do by myself. And I think that that's something important that AI is bringing to the table, and each day more and more accurate. And I think that that's really important.
Yeah, and it's as important as we keep saying for any other productivity tool too. The more specialized the tool is, the better usually it is. So there's not one solution for everything, and the same applies for AI. So Gamma.app is the one that Paco mentioned about creating presentations. That's the one that I used in the past too. There's a YouTube video where I talk about my life, and I just fed in all my story. So I used ChatGPT. So how this worked, I just made an audio recording of myself talking about what I remember from my background and working in corporate and all the insights and outsides. And then I added to ChatGPT and I said, make me a proper story out of this, and a script. And it made it. And then I fed the script into Gamma.app, and it created me the presentation for it, and it created the images as well that goes along, and I had the style there, and I was able to add the branding. And then it's so great because you can have the different typical structures that you have on slideshows, and this is amazing when you want to. I just realized when you said it, I have to use it more again because I really love this application. That's a great one.
Yeah, it's
And
still, well, it's not perfect yet, okay, but
no, but
it's
what I
well, a
wanted to
product that
say
it's
here
quite
is
serious,
it
quite
is not
serious.
about perfect. So the one thing was there's not one AI app for everything, like we say for the productivity tools, but also there's no longer, at least for me, the excuse of a writer's block. That's something I never experienced again. That what should I talk
Yeah.
about? Because I just start chatting with a chat GPT in this case usually, And I come up with ideas. That's what this is all about, to have a starting point. It's the same for the presentation. I didn't end up using the presentation that I created there in the video. In the end, it was just some snippets from this presentation that I used, but a whole video was created around this. It was the inspiration for me. And Mary says in the chat, I absolutely agree on AI being a force multiplier. I found Perplexity to be like having an excellent research associate, sounding board, and executive assistant all in one. Even in the small ways I use it. I've come to use it every day and saves me so much time and aggravation. It also helps me get off the blank page. Well, that's the one, exactly. That can be crippling when I'm overwhelmed. I can only imagine how much more effective it can be for me if I'd become more proficient at it. I definitely need to use it more for automation. And that's again, don't go down the road to think that perplexity will be the solution for everything. The other way around, ChatGPT added now web research, and you have the deep research function there as well. And I used just yesterday the deep research on Perplexity and on ChatGPT. What was the prompt? I cannot remember. I think it was, productivity problems or something like that. And they came up with complete different solutions. So sometimes it makes sense to use both, because in this case, ChatGPT was better, while usually Perplexity is much better when it comes to this. So Perplexity completely replaced Google. So whenever I have any question I want to ask the web, or I want to find public opinions on that, I go to Perplexity. It doesn't matter if it is my private life or work life. I use it for any prompt. And ChatGPT has a different place there as well.
I,
So it's important to keep the differentiation there.
and I think that using AI as your thinking partner, I think that it's amazing.
Yeah.
I can state that I've become a better thinker thanks to AI, because it's about the decision making process. I think that the clear problem articulation that you can do by using AI, it's amazing. If you prompt AI for alternative perspective, the perspective make all the sense, okay? Make all the sense. And you can challenge also assumptions. That's something that I have done. Well, I've done whenever I'm dealing with a complicated email or something that is really strategic. I always challenge my assumptions, okay, and my biases
Yeah.
to the AI, because I think that it can perfectly detect weaknesses in my, elaboration of the idea, okay, and how I am defending the strength of something. If I'm missing any important point, maybe if I'm adding something that creates uncertainty, because it's like someone who's, you know, listening to your idea, but with an amazing huge of information and approaches, okay, that can deliver real added value. Okay, I remember that in the past, whenever we need to make a strong decision, two or three people sit all together just to see the different perspective of how we see the things, and should we say this, should we not say this, should we mention this. And now it's like having thousands of or even millions of people, but with a knowledge that it's amazing. I don't care if people say that AI is like average, average knowledge. I disagree a little bit, because sometimes, the average is not so bad, okay? Depending on the things that you are working on. And in my case, it has helped me a lot, because the moment that I see that there are any hallucination or something that doesn't make sense at all, well, I don't use it. But some of the times it opens the door for me to keep delivering something much better, and I think that that's enough, and this type of journaling process or thinking process assisted by AI, it's something that it's pretty easy to implement, because it's just following your intuition, like if you are talking to any other person. But the outcome that you will receive is really surprising. And also when you start changing from one tool to another, and I wouldn't go so far in my case, I just use some vertical solution for specific things. For instance, journaling, I'm using Mindseera, but the moment that Cortana has enhanced, the different LLMs that you can use, the different AI models, it becomes really useful, interacting, because it's using much more context, because the biggest amount of content that I have, it's inside my PKM. It's impossible, to replicate that in any of my journaling apps, because there is just snippets of certain moments or whatever.
So
But my PKM has
is Tana
everything,
AI aware of the whole database that you
Yeah,
create?
correct. Yes, correct. And also you can just chat with a specific node that is like an idea that you have, and there. But the beautiful thing is that it opens a window inside the same tool, okay? And you can perfectly copy and paste, make references directly, linking the reply of the AI inside your PKM. There's a blurry line between the AI content and yours. And for me, that's something that is pretty useful in many use cases, okay? Because I don't need to bring things to my PKM. It's already there, and I can reference, and it becomes an object inside. And that's something that I'm expecting for Heptabase, because that's the moment that you really enhance your PKM, because you don't need to go there and start, adding a lot of context, because you are missing something always at any moment. The moment that you are adding context to receive a precise outcome, okay, you are missing the things, okay? It's impossible, and it's a waste of time, okay? Because if you have to add a huge context, that's something that some of the tools do really well, okay? For instance, if I use Lex, that it's the writing tool that I love to use, because it's not based on notes, okay? It's plain text, and I can perfectly interact, and it works really well. And also the graphical user interface, it's really nice. The point is that I can quickly add context by uh, inserting standards, okay? They call it, I don't know, something like tags. It's not tags, it's something, because I'm right now I'm confused about super tag, whatever. It's another name. I think it's tags, okay? But tags, it's something that is related to a context, and you can start adding information and feeding that tag, so that the moment that you are using any new document, you can perfectly use a tag, and then all the context, it's guaranteed that it's added to bring the best outcome possible. And I think that those type of combinations of using AI with those context things, and also not changing context, because the moment that you are inside a thinking process, if you change context, that creates friction, okay? And that's why I love the moment that AI is really nice implemented. If I'm inside Superhuman, I want to use AI there.
Yeah.
I don't want to change. I want to see the and read calmly all the,
That
for
was really
instance, thread
the
of the
first
email.
place where I didn't use external AI, and I was happy with the AI implementation. That was the first time in Superhuman.
Correct. Yeah,
Because
totally.
also the implementation in Heptabase, it's very underwhelming. They just have an inside feature where
Yeah.
you can ask questions about a PDF, but well, I can do this in ChatGPT, and the thing is, I can do it much more accurate, as I have my custom GPTs that have a background and I know who they are and what I'm looking for. And having a general feature implemented that is just giving me insights into something without the context. Who is this insight for? Who is the expert reading this? What kind should, that's nonsense in my opinion. It's just an implementation of AI in some way to start to catch up. Well, we will see how else they will do it. I'm much more interested in getting AI on the whiteboards where the AI will be aware of what you have there or helps you to lay out more on the whiteboards. Well, let's see how this will evolve over time. And John says, before we end the session, John says in the chat, I'm working with combination of Perplexity and Claude. When will ClickUp AI become a factor? Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like with all the other features inside ClickUp, it's half baked. Whenever I ask anything, it just gives me nonsense. I don't know. And when but the only thing that I would expect from ClickUp AI to be helpful with is using semantics to find relevant content I'm looking for in my BKM, the business knowledge management system, inside ClickUp. And it never, ever found what I was asking for. I don't know why it is, but it's not content aware in this regards that I was. So using the normal search, I found it faster than using AI. And then also it's very slow. Even creating tasks, man, I'm sitting there for 30 seconds or longer to create a simple task out of a comment. I could have done this faster. So as long things like this I have going on, I'm faster doing things manually. And I'm not sure rolling this out for the team. Everybody gets access, and then it alters the tasks and all these things. I wouldn't have trust as much as I would never have trust to things like Motion, the other project management tool that moves around your tasks on the calendar and things like that. I don't believe in these things. Again, it comes down to how well do you have control over your productivity system already, and how well are things defined. The better AI will actually help you to reorganize things. But if I'm already at a stage where everything is organized, I don't think that I need AI to organize my stuff. That makes no sense.
The
So,
point is that I think that talking about knowledge management, no matter if it's business, I mean, team related or personal, the crucial thing is combining a structure with AI access, okay? Because, for
yeah,
instance, imagine that in Tana, for instance, that we both use it for like a small CRM, okay? Um, it's beautiful to be able to have everything as structure in your BKM because it makes sense for you and you can go and find the information easy because you are just following your intuition. But in many use cases, it's useful to just ask something using a prompt and receive. I remember a guy from New York, and you just ask the AI inside your
yeah,
PKM, and you retrieve that. That was the amazing thing 3 years ago talking about mem, okay? Because you just ask, you prompt, and then you receive the expected outcome without knowing what it's stored when you store it. No, nothing at all. AI takes, and that's what, for instance, tools like Tana is achieving, because you have something that is perfectly structured by using the outline, the databases and everything, but also you have the access. For instance, if a node is about my son, I don't know, I can ask questions just, about my son, and I receive the connections, the things that I have done, whatever, inside my PKM. And I think that the more is combined the structure of my knowledge with having access to retrieve things using a natural way of interacting with your system is the amazing thing, And here we have multiple examples. For instance, Salesforce. It has both, okay? I have the structure, but then I can ask about what's the client that generates the most revenue for the company. Whatever, whenever it comes to mind, it's a way of receiving reporting that it's the path that we should follow. And talking about ClickUp, if AI will work correctly, it will be amazing because we have all the structure of our projects, well, all the outputs element, all the ICOR methodology
well, the
pretty
whole
well
book was
implemented, but
written in
we
there,
can retrieve
but it still doesn't find anything related to this. It's insane.
correct.
And they
Yeah,
add all these features the same when I requested, will we get PDF search with content search? So when I upload invoices to ClickUp, will I find this by the company name or whatever without having the title?
correct.
And yeah, they added it as promised. But I cannot trust it. There's always a feeling I cannot trust the results that I get, that they work. On the other hand, the first really big surprise when it comes to AI implementation was also Airtable. So when I built a central CRM for us, where we have now all our members in Airtable, but connected out all the other places where the members are living, the membership, email management system, and things like that. Everything is connected back to Airtable. That's insane how AI helped me to build the databases and database connections, because here you can just prompt and say, how do you connect these things together? Or in fact, if a new item gets added to the database, it will search for the relevant item on another database based on a prompt and automatically connect things together. So that's a real no code solution,
Correct.
what I say here. And the same for Lindy in the beginning, building these AI agents. You don't have to have any coding experience. You just write prompts, what the AIs should do, and how everything is interconnected. So that's the next step for Zapier. Zapier also added AI, being content aware, or helps you to creating API connections. It's coming more and more in the different places and in a
Yeah.
specialized way, and that's really something exciting because now we get these agents in the different places and they are specialized, and that's where I can trust. And I don't know how I should see ClickUp in there. Well, everybody,
Right.
interesting topic, at least for us, hopefully also for you guys. Um, just realized in 30 minutes how many things came up that I wasn't even aware when we started the episode that I'm using AI in. And sure, we will keep you guys up to date and we catch you up next week. Have a good time.
Okay. See you guys. Thank you.